and I look at them with judgment. And I look at them with a comparative nature, and I say to myself, at least it never got that. And I couldn't finish the statement.
Because you were razor thin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Heal with Beth Jones. That's me, your host. My mission is to bring the power of healing to trauma and abuse survivors. That's why every guest on this show will bring you an amazing story of healing in action. So come on, everyone, let's heal. Welcome to this episode of Let's Heal with Beth Jones. I'm your host and healing mentor. We often assume that addiction looks like a visible mess, lost jobs, broken homes, and obvious chaos. But what happens when the struggle is hidden behind a perfect mask of high performance and success? Today, I'm sitting down with Travis Blakeley. Travis had what looked like a dream life. He had a career in professional sports, he was a successful chef, and he had a beautiful family. Yet he was secretly living a double life fueled by a deep need to control the narrative and bury a childhood trauma he had carried since age 11. He was quite literally running marathons on broken legs just to prove he was okay. If you've ever felt like love is transactional, something you have to earn by performing or being perfect, or if you're exhausting yourself trying to keep up a facade while hurting on the inside, this episode is going to show you that the only way out is not trying harder, but surrendering. Get ready to learn why vulnerability is actually your greatest superpower. Travis Blakeley, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Miss Beth. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have you here today. This is going to be a great conversation.
Absolutely.
How are you doing today?
Far better than I deserve.
Why would you say that?
Well, you know, it was a lesson in and of itself just to learn what those words meant. But what it is a perspective. And if it's something I start my day with, it's an understanding that I owe everything to He who reigns supreme in my life, which is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Yeah. And that perspective allows me to move forward.
Yes. But you know that you're an amazing human being and you deserve everything that God gives you and
I'm
has
very
given
grateful
you.
for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yes, very grateful for everything in my life.
Amen.
The ups and the downs, the
Yes.
pain and the good times, right?
That's it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, all right, would you please take a few moments to introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Travis Blakeley.
Mm-hmm.
I am a very proud father of 4 amazing children and the husband to one of the most gracious women that has ever walked this planet. My children are ages 12, 7, 6, and 10 months old as of the airing of this episode. And in that, I find a lot of my identity. But I also am a proud son, a grateful, and oftentimes a bit, I don't know how to describe it, enthusiastic lover of all things relative to this new brotherhood and journey that is my sobriety walk.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful to be a part of that with many men who have made a difference in my life. And in doing that, I think that's why I found my way onto your couch.
Yes.
To be able to share that journey and really get at the core of those healing moments that has allowed me to now sit here with you and share this testimony.
Yes. And we are going to talk about that, and we will talk about how we met each other.
Yes.
I would like just to take a moment and say to you, since you mentioned your kids and your wife, I was thinking about this actually since I saw you a couple of days ago at basketball and was there with your family, sitting with them. Every time I see them, I marvel at the depth of real love that I see between you and your kids and your wife and your wife and your kids. It is spectacular. And your kids are amazing.
I will brag on them for hours. I know we only have an hour together today. So we can find a different time for that. But you know, Beth, it's really cool to have you say that. And it's so encouraging too, because I can say with 100% certainty, if we were having this conversation 3 years ago, you would be probably asking me to do more. and be more aware and be more attentive and be more present with my kids and be more affectionate and be more loving and understanding and comforting with my wife. But it was a lot of those lessons that were gained by allowing myself to recognize that my life had become unmanageable and I was powerless.
Yeah. That's beautiful awareness that you have about yourself, which I think happens to us when we go on this deep healing journey. We are in a place of going, wow, who was that person, right? Which is my same journey, right? I mean, I describe what I've been through as a radical personal transformation. And that word transformation is, it's thrown around lightly today, which is why I put radical on it, because that's the truth. And I think you're similar, right? And those of us who go through those deep, deep healing journeys to say, wait a minute, who is that person and why is that person existing this way? And then to actually become who we truly are. Right?
Well, absolutely. And I love that word radical, right? Because for those who are living radically, there's a level of passion and enthusiasm that comes with that, right? And I think those are certainly adjectives that could be used to describe my current existence, but for a whole different reason. Because those same words could have been applied to my previous walks, whether it was in professional sports, where I spent nearly a decade, whether it was through all my various academic achievements and athletic achievements personally, prior to becoming a coach and a front office personnel member. And then also now in my new journey, where I experienced success as a chef prior to entering into recovery, and now moving into a ministry format of the hospitality industry, where I'm able to take a lot of that radicality and encourage others and be enthusiastic about things that now matter in this world.
Yeah, which is what we're called to do,
Amen.
Right? Is to share that with other people,
That's
right?
it.
That ripple effect out. So, all right. So why don't we get on to your journey, your life's journey, right? So let's start with the hard part of your story. And we are going to spend a good bit of time talking about the healing journey, because there's a lot of great things that have come from that for you that I want to get to. But we do need to set the stage a little bit for the audience to let them know, what did Travis's life look like when you were in your pain and suffering?
This was one of the things that became very easy to avoid over time, because I started avoiding it at an early age. Around 11, I smoked weed for the first time. And it stemmed from what I think a lot of psychologists or folks in that space would call big T trauma. Right? And sparing the details, right, I was taken advantage of. Not someone close, just someone who was in my life and held a position of authority. And that was something, Beth, that was really difficult at the time to wrap my head around, because it occurs and simultaneously my parents are going through a divorce, which would be classified as, I guess, maybe big T trauma, maybe little T trauma, just kind of depending on how you take it. How do you want to rate it, right? But that's for each to hold their own.
Yes, that's right.
And for me, what it did is it created confusion in my 11-year-old developing mind and my 11-year-old developing body. And that confusion, in addition to the pain, needed both an outlet and a coping mechanism. And the outlet was performative. It was better grades, better athletic achievements, more friends, more girlfriends, push, do all I could. And the pain was masked when the first time I took a hit out of the bong. And I liked it. And it felt good. And it felt good in the moment. And then it felt bad when it didn't exist. And through that journey, right, then it's like, okay, well, now I need it. But at 11, it's pretty hard to come by. Right. And so things continue to progress. And I think some of my outlets were looked at as normal when I would act out of character, because my parents were going through a divorce, and that was part of the grieving process and the healing process. But in the dark shadows, here it is, I'm trying to find a way to get high. And then ultimately drinking comes into the equation. And that's around 12.
That's quick.
It happened quick, but again, it's what was available. Right? If I know this feels good and this is similar, then it probably feels good too. And there's the outlet.
May I ask you just a question about
so what happened to you when you were 11 and your parents being in a divorce, were you able to talk with anyone or even begin to sort of hint that something might have happened at all?
They brought
happened?
a therapist in. I believe it was through our church. It's a little tough to remember the details. That's a little foggy. But in terms of the big T trauma, I never touched base on that whatsoever.
You just buried it.
I buried it.
Okay.
Didn't happen. Okay. Not going to address it. We'll focus on the things that everyone knows about.
And and the divorce, because you have resources around your family trying to help you all, you do get a little bit of help. But even in therapy there, you never mentioned it.
Never mentioned it. Didn't feel led to do it. Felt ashamed. Felt guilty.
Yeah.
Felt less than.
Crazy, isn't it? That we feel that way. Shame and guilt is something that somebody else takes advantage of us, and that's how we feel.
That's how we feel.
Crazy thing about trauma.
Right.
Absolutely the crazy thing about trauma.
Well, and then the sexual confusion as an 11-year-old developing boy.
Right.
That's like, okay, well, what is my outlet for this going to be?
Right.
Girlfriends, promiscuity.
Yes.
Push, right? Yes. Be the cool guy who has all these friends, and then with those relationships, talk to that girl, talk to that girl, talk to that girl for that friend.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just became this image that if I could maintain it, I never had to address the problem.
Yeah, the problem. And you get into a spiral of learning some really unhealthy things about what love is. Right. And then couple that with your experience with your parents going through a divorce at that age, just really, we don't know this is happening to us, but it's really setting in our unconscious mind some really messed up ideas about what love truly is.
That's right.
Right. And we're just on our own, just, trying to figure it out. And really it all stems back to the very beginning of the first time that you were ever taken advantage of, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And then the unfortunate outlet that I found for myself, which just perpetuated
the drugs and the alcohol.
The drugs and the alcohol.
All right, so let's pick up there.
So then we're off and running, right?
quickly at the alcohol.
And so here we are, it's 7th, 8th grade. And as I enter into high school, I make the decision to go live with my father. And my dad is an amazing man, and he and my stepmother provided a wonderful environment for me, just like my mother and stepdad did as well. But what it did is it created a disconnect, and through that disconnect leveled a particular type of inconsistency in my life, where I'd also provided shadows for me to hide in. Because if something occurred at this house, I could go to the other one. If something occurred there, I could go to the other one.
Yes.
I could go to grandma and grandpa's house.
Yes.
Right. And so I realized that this was a pattern I could kind of bring into my life. And that pattern would allow me a chance to escape truth.
Yes.
Recraft the narrative, control the story. So now my addiction of control is becoming rewarded because no one's thinking less of me based on prior action that they didn't know about.
Yes, so you're getting away with it.
I'm getting away with it.
Right.
Consequences don't exist.
They don't.
Right? And part of the reason why is because, as I alluded to previously, performative-based love, transactional-based love is what I thought mattered.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're
score
getting
more
accolades.
Points, get better grades,
people
do
love
cooler stuff, be involved in
raining
more.
Down praise, and again, messed up idea of what love is.
That's
right?
it. Yeah. And it wasn't from my parents.
Yeah.
It was my false belief in what it was.
Yeah. So this continues
well into high school.
Yes,
I'm drinking. We started a group called the Wednesday Night Drinking Club my freshman year in high school.
Okay.
We would play drinking games in garages of some pretty affluent families here in the DFW area. And it wasn't that they didn't know it was happening. It's just that it wasn't seen as to be detrimental, because again, here it is, a group of young men that are doing well by all measurable standards for high school students.
Yes.
But we're stealing alcohol from whomever's, bar at whatever house, or we had a fake ID or an older sibling who would help us out, which is how this thing kind of evolved, was my best friend's older brother.
Yeah.
And so that's occurring. Weekends, binge drinking until blackout status. But nothing where it was every day. I'm not putting vodka in a water bottle and taking it to school, but I am smoking 5-6 times a week. Because that was something I could keep in my truck. Boom, a little Axe body spray, off to class, right?
Does that actually work, by the way?
No, it doesn't work. No, it didn't work then, and it didn't work into my 30s either when it became a different type of cologne. But it was, again, just this disillusioned thought process.
Right.
And I got away with it because the consequences were never real, or they
Mhm.
weren't harsh enough, or
Mhm.
or didn't carry enough of a life lesson that was something that I could actually adopt and adjust. And I carried with me that pain. So the
Yeah.
healing process never began,
Mm.
right? It was just this perpetual cycle of living in mediocrity,
Yeah.
but not having it look that way.
Yeah. And that goes on for a small number of decades.
A small number of decades, it would be
Right.
fair. My parents recognized a larger issue at hand after I had left after my freshman year in college.
Okay.
Did get in trouble, did receive a consequence, which was accept the academic and social kind of probationary status I would be placed on because my dorm room had been raided by the police.
Okay.
We had a few parties and had quite a bit of alcohol. We also had quite a bit of weed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was a giant bust that you would read about in a newspaper or see a headline on a news broadcast on television, but it was a small liberal arts school, and it was significant enough that we went before the dean, and rather than accept the punishment, I turned and went home. Okay, that's the consequence. I don't have to accept it. I have options.
Yeah.
So I go home, and my parents recognize there's some issues at play here, and I go to my first inpatient rehab in California, and it's there right along the Pacific coastline, and learned some amazing yoga techniques and breathing techniques, and learned how to surf, which I love to do still to this day. Don't get the chance to do it very often. And the street tacos were amazing, but what didn't exist was Christ's ability to heal.
Healing didn't
and
exist.
real
Right.
true recovery.
Yes.
Introduction to the 12 steps and the AA groups and all that, which are still very, very much at the forefront of my healing process to this day.
Sure, but you know how to use them now.
I know how to use them. They aren't empty words.
Yes.
And I was willing to say more recently, I am powerless, and my life had become unmanageable.
Yeah.
Then I could just echo what I heard and placate those around me.
Yes. Yeah, which is a lot of what we're doing when we're in that survival mode.
Right.
Because you want to keep feeding the beast.
That was it.
Yeah, exactly.
That beast loved the alcohol I was feeding it.
Yeah. So how many times have you been to rehab? And not let's take Men of Nehemiah out.
Fair.
Okay.
Not the same in my
it is not the same. We're going to talk about that. But
so
before that, how many
so
times?
standard rehab like that, two programs.
Okay.
Sober living homes, 2, 3. I mean, let's call it a half dozen.
Yeah.
In addition to getting dropped off at AA groups and expected to be working a program of recovery while living kind of an outpatient existence.
Yeah.
Counseling multiple times a week. So an outpatient program without the 4 walls of an inpatient rehab.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll call it a half dozen or so.
Okay.
From age 20 until age 38, 39. And then after a sober living, we'll just call it a fiasco, gone awry, where the initial part of the program I bought in out of desperation.
Yeah.
Not out of awareness, not out of true brokenness, but desperation to maintain my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, this facade of who I was, but it lacked radical vulnerability, and I could not initiate the healing process on my own, and the leadership there certainly wasn't in a position to provide it.
Yeah.
And so it was just more of that spin cycle, right, that we see on the news these days, where it's like, okay, can manipulate the message just enough, right, for those who are providing this opportunity for me to find healing, that they see that it may be working, when in actuality, all the root causes were still there. The symptoms were masked a bit, right, but nothing was truly in the healing process.
Yes. Now, you did make your way to Men of Nehemiah, which has been transformative for you, as it is for many of the men that go through that program. Was the end, the bottom, your rock bottom moment, the pivot point to really get into that program? Did it happen right before you went to Men of Nehemiah?
No. No, great question.
Take your time. It's all right.
Beth, as you know, and you've already said
By
it.
the way, thank you for your radical vulnerability. I heard that phrase earlier this week from our friend John Seidel, and I love it, because that's what I'm all about. And I think that's what the world needs from those of us who've been through this, to know it's all right to be in that place, because there is so much joy and peace and love, and we thrive in our lives on the other side. But having that moment of reverence to never forget, right? As we hear all the time, keep your pain in your pocket. That's what's happening to you. And that's okay. It's important.
Well, and John is a dear brother. And coincidentally, I had been in a classroom at Nehemiah after graduating. And they were doing this exercise, and this gentleman began breaking down as he was being very vulnerable. And he just started saying, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I in the back, again, I'm more as an observer, not as a participant. And I echoed to him as loudly as I possibly could, your vulnerability right now is the only superpower you have to break this cycle. Step into it. So powerful. And then 2 Tuesdays later, John Seidel's coming out of a Tuesday night all city worship. I'm walking in, and I had kind of steered away from him because I knew this project he was working on, this new book, and I didn't really want to put myself out there, shocker, in that type of a format. And anyway, God just does amazing things, and he broke down those walls, and now we have a strong, strong relationship. And as his book alludes to, that radical vulnerability is such a critical piece. And as you can see from my physical response, the tipping point, or that rock bottom moment that still wasn't as deep as I could dig, because it wasn't instant rock bottom, go get treatment. It was rock bottom, hit a breaking point with vulnerability. And the rock bottom was, I was grocery shopping, and I began, as I walked by, and it was before 7 a.m. So in Texas, you can't buy alcohol. I walk by and I see that little single serve beer section inside the grocery store, and I grab one. I start drinking in the grocery store. Grab a couple things at the aisles over, walk back around, grab another one. Dropping them in the trash cans kind of as I go. It's January 4th, I believe. Maybe a couple days later. My daughter's about to turn 10. So I make my way to the checkout register. The manager and someone who had seen these things happen come over and tell me the cops are on the way. And I get arrested, and my daughter's birthday has to get completely restructured. Party, whatever, not whatever. That's a horrible word to use in that circumstance. But I completely upend what should be a very celebratory moment for a very innocent young lady that I love dearly. And it's a trigger point, right? And so through that, I'm very open and honest with my pastors who come to our home. And, the timing in my mind is probably a bit skewed, but it's all the same week. And the days don't really matter in terms of, but I open up about that instance when I was 11, and it happened again when I was 15 in a different setting. Where men of authority in my life, now at 15, it happened because I was blackout drunk. So now it's turned into something where I could actually point a finger and say, oh, drinking is bad for you, Travis, and yet I can still go and do it.
100%.
Right? And so I know better, yet I don't know better.
Absolutely.
And so in that moment, Beth, I'm radically vulnerable. I'm broken because I've broken a completely innocent person in my life, one that I love dearly, my daughter. But it still wasn't enough of a catalyst to make the necessary changes and ask for the necessary help. It bought me time.
So before we go to that, getting to that point, when all of that came out of you that day, the pastors, right, and you're telling your truth for the first time, which, by the way, is one of the most powerful things that we do on the healing journey, is the first time those words come out of our mouths. I get chills when I think about this, my own experience with that, right? The release that comes with that we don't even realize the depth of the emotion and the pain that we're holding. At least that was my experience, right? So in that moment when that's coming out, How did you feel?
Even in the moment, Beth,
Mm-hmm.
in the initial moment,
Mm-hmm.
I was holding on to all I could.
So you're
I
only
would let it out, but only so much.
okay.
And my pastor's wife, and they are amazing people, and we're so grateful to do life with them at our church in Frisco, Restoration Church, very appropriately named.
Yes.
She's telling me, say their names.
Yes.
Say their names. Be specific, right? Give it up.
It's hard to do.
And it was so tough, but it happened.
Yeah.
And without that kind of ripping off of the Band-Aid, pulling out of the stitches and exposing the wound,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't have led me down the appropriate journey, which took an additional 6 months prior to going to Nehemiah.
Okay.
So we're in January. I
Yeah.
don't go to Nehemiah until June. And
Okay.
in between, I'm running an ultramarathon out in Fort Worth.
Escaping. Another escape.
Escape,
Right? Another.
And I had been sober from this point until marathon.
Yeah, but you're escaping through the marathon.
I'm escaping through performative-based
right.
things,
just put
right?
it somewhere else.
Let me do it elsewhere.
But that one's healthy, right? Everybody tells you
One
that's
would think
healthy.
so.
Right?
One would think so. It's healthy if done with the right intention.
Yes.
I was doing it for all the wrong intentions, right?
Right.
And that intentionality is such a huge walk in this health journey,
Yes.
right? Or healing journey, excuse me. And so, Beth, as I'm running through the streets of Fort Worth, that, it's a very famous marathon.
Yes.
And I'm running with men from my church, our run group.
Yes.
My knee begins to ache, my left knee. And then it begins to swell. And then it begins to change color.
Oh.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of towards the front of the pack, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm a pretty good athlete.
For you, yeah.
You know?
You are a good athlete, by the way.
Thank you. And it's something that I've done for a long time, and I found it to be a great outlet, but also a great mask. And this is not normal. But what is normal in run culture, as you get further into the race, is they have these stands set up where you can take a shot or have a beer or whatever it may be. And as I'm looking at my knee and I'm seeing some of my brothers like, hey, do we want to hang with you, Trav? Or I'm like, no, go ahead.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of them. And the one brother who stays with me for a good 2 miles, he's the newest to the group, right? And I was his encourager in our first few runs training for this. And now here he is, full circle moment, encouraging me and saying, I'll stay with you. And it takes at least 5, if not more, occasions where I say, go ahead. No, just go ahead, because he's hanging with me. And he's got amazing levels of discernment. And I think he knew. I think he knew what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And he takes off
Almost
at my demand.
Yeah.
And the first one I come across, crack the beer, slug it back, make friends, and it's off to the races. I wait 45 minutes or so. I have my phone with me. I wait 45 minutes or so to alert my wife that I'm pulling off the race.
Mm-hmm.
I even stay on the course so that the microchip tracker doesn't deviate from there's a lot of thought that goes into this.
Just pure manipulation.
Oh, it's master manipulation, right?
Yes.
And then, Beth, here's the ultimate kicker.
Mm.
What I was arrested for and ruined my daughter's birthday week, I go back and do again.
Oh.
I am looking at, here's the race course,
yes.
right? Here's a grocery store
yes.
close by that has a parking lot where I can tell her to meet me, to pick me up, so I don't have to continue to hobble. And I go in and I slug a few back. I don't get caught, no consequence. She picks me up. We go home. I'm getting word from all my friends who are finishing the race. Oh, we missed you, this, that, or the other. Catch up at the finish line just briefly before taking off. Church later that night, I choose not to attend. I sit in an ice bath to take care of my knee. I limp to the gas station to get more alcohol that night while my wife and kids are at church. It's just snowballs from there, right?
Yeah.
Because now I'm hobbled. I have a stress fracture in my leg. I can't go to work. I'm a chef at this time. I can't go to work. I can't stand on it. And the mornings are now starting where I am going to this pond behind our house. And I'm telling my wife I'm going there to relax and sit to start my day. And I'm hobbling on crutches to make it to the gas station by 6:50. So at 7, when I can buy alcohol, I'm the first in line. I grab it and I can make it back in time to see the kids off to school. Then I make my way back to the pond where I've hidden a bottle of alcohol. I turbocharge, as I like to call it, my seltzers with vodka and catch a strong buzz, if not fully drunk, by 9 a.m.
Mm.
And that is an everyday occurrence while on crutches for nearly a month, and then into kind of the rehab portion of the leg healing, right? And I'm getting called out for it. And my wife's questioning me left and right, but it's never to the point where she's demanding of me to find help.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, okay, well, let's get him a therapist. And so we go that route, and it's just not enough.
No.
And then May 27th. Thank you,
Okay.
Jesus.
We're evolving.
We are, quickly. May 27th. Very slippery slope in the afternoon. A lot of big emotions hit. My wife and I have a disagreement. She throws me out of the house, and I'm very intoxicated. My ex-brother-in-law says he'll take me in for the night. I wake up the next day, and he lives in Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And I start my day. I get up and I take off before he's awake, and I start making my rounds. Grocery store, convenience store. I have no money. She took the credit cards. She took the cash, took my wallet, all of it. And I'm just stealing alcohol all day long.
My goodness.
I go to restaurants once they're finally open, and I walk bar tabs. And I can't, to this day, Beth, I don't know how many or where exactly, except because I turned the location services off after some point.
Yeah.
All I know is around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock that night, as I'm looking over a bridge at Arapahoe and 75, having walked all of Richardson into Plano to Frisco,
oh my
and around
goodness.
back to Richardson.
Okay, and so by the way, so for our listeners, about how
yes.
far is that?
We're talking neighborhood of 25 miles.
Probably 25
roughly.
miles.
Yeah.
Yes, probably so.
Long day.
Yes, a very
25
long
miles
day.
in about
Very long
12-ish
day.
hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this bridge, and I'm trying to find which semi can help me leave this world.
Travis. Yeah.
And my sister has called.
So sorry.
My wife has called. My mom, my dad, and for whatever reason, Beth, I finally pick up the phone. And my dad, I come from a line of athletes and coaches, and my dad speaks to me in a way that made sense in the moment. And again, God bless his discernment, but he spoke to me like a coach, and I've always been coachable. Son, I need you to get to your brother-in-law's house. I'm going to be there. I'm going to pick you up, and we're going to figure it out. But get there now. Go. Okay, Dad. Down the bridge, make my way back. Mom's calling. Oh, we'll pick you up. We'll pick you up. Sister's calling. I'll come pick you up. I have my direction.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Get back. He picks me up. He's waiting for me in the driveway. I get in his car. We go to a barbecue restaurant where my mom's waiting. We're going to take you somewhere. Okay. And wildly intoxicated. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Buy me some food to help, the sober up process.
Yeah.
My mom has to tell me this after I get home from Nehemiah.
Yeah.
Apparently I had gone to the bathroom and started a bar tab while they're sitting there at the restaurant, and it ran up a pretty sizable bar tab while at the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
They take me to a mental health hospital where I register a 0.3-ish.
Oh goodness.
So they won't admit me because I may have to go to a hospital first.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the lobby with my mom at my side for hours until they finally admit me. And I go in and I have a bed, and I'm there on I believe it's a 72-hour hold is what's required. And no communication for the first 24 hours. The next time it's a couple phone calls to check in. You okay? And then that final 24 hours. Travis, coming from my mom, my dad, and my wife. Travis, we found a place for you, and it's either this or figure it out.
Yeah.
And in my head, initially, 9 months at Men of Nehemiah, an
It's no joke.
It's
That program
no joke.
is no joke.
And again, there's no internet where I'm at. There's no research I can do. It's
Yeah.
just what they're telling me. It's
Yeah.
a 9-month program.
Yep.
It's inpatient.
Yep.
It's in
Yep.
South Dallas.
Yep.
It's
Your
free.
first
And
3
I'm
months,
like, wait a minute. No, I'm going to
limited,
need
no
yoga.
contact,
I'm going to need
right?
a gourmet
No,
chef. I need a beach.
No,
or I need
no,
equine therapy.
no,
I need all the things.
No, you're marching.
I'm marching.
You're marching.
That's
and You're
it.
getting to know Jesus.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. And you know what? It's really cool because my parents all knew about Nehemiah. And my parents and my wife knew about Nehemiah in different ways.
Mm.
My dad had a friend who was in the program,
Okay.
close friend,
Mhm.
went to college together, traveled together to this day.
Yeah.
So he found Nehemiah through a relationship
Mhm.
that was very personal to him. My mom, her best friend, had been looking for something for her daughter
Mm.
and stumbled upon the Men of Nehemiah. So now, again, another relationship.
Yes.
And then I'm starting to come around on social media a little bit. My
Mhm.
wife is quite good at it.
Mhm.
But lo and behold, her biggest familiarity with the Men of Nehemiah came through Instagram. So I guess there is something decent that comes on our feed every once in a while.
Yes, there are those of us out there who are trying to put good
We're
content
trying.
onto social media.
That's
we
right.
are trying. Yeah.
And so this kind of 3-headed approach
Yes.
is how
It was God.
it was total God thing, right?
100%,
And
yes.
it was enough where the ammunition that was being fired at me
Yeah.
I couldn't avoid it.
Right.
I couldn't pull a matrix and start
God's like,
dodging bullets.
Hello, this
Yeah,
is where you
this
need
is
to
where
be.
you're going.
Yes.
And so I submit, I make the call for the intake the next morning, and I'm still in negotiation mode with Amanda. I'm like, well, I'll just come home for the night. Let me have some time with the kids. Okay, you can come home, but then you're going to your uncle's house. And my uncle took me in after some times with the kids and after a dinner, and we said goodbye. And the kids, my daughter knew, the boys were a little young, but they knew Daddy was sick. And I stay at my uncle's house, and my mom comes the next morning and takes me to Nehemiah. And even in all of that, knowing it's a 9-month program, the manipulative nature of Travis, and I
being
speak in that
alcoholic.
term,
Right.
I will be here for 30 days. It will be enough to appease Amanda, my wife, to placate my parents into understanding that I got what I needed. I got what I came for. I'm healed. And whatever happens, happens. No big deal.
Okay.
30 days is what I tell myself.
By the way, it's a 9-month program.
9 months.
By the way.
9 months. Yeah. So me saying I'll do 1/9 of the program, right? I'll do 1 month.
Yeah. So you're still not in the place of surrender.
Zero, not even close.
No, not even close.
Not even close, right? All these things stack up, and I think I'm there. And I share what I shared.
Because we're smarter than ourselves, right? We are.
And I'm in control.
Yes.
Right? My addiction is not one to alcohol or to weed or to anything that's in front of me. My addiction is to control.
Yeah.
And that control led me to this thought process, even as I'm going through the intake questions, even as I'm sitting there watching these big buff dudes walk by me in full fatigues, looking joyful, right? And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, yeah, it's still not for me. Still not, they don't know who I am, right? And so all of this happens, and then I go up to this intake room, and a woman named Melinda Russ sits down with me and
Mama Melinda,
Nia Mama,
her new name,
yep.
Yes.
And we're sitting there, and she enters a room, and the room glows because of her glow.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Tell me about yourself. Where'd you grow up?" And she's got a little bit of that West Texas twang, and she reminds me a lot of my mom. My mom's from Lubbock, and I'm like, "Oh, well, it's easy to talk to you." And she's, she has that look too. I'm like, "Oh, I recognize a couple of the brands she's wearing." I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I get it. You're in charge here.
Yeah.
Right. And we start talking, and she's like, "Oh, where'd you grow up?" I'm like, "Here." And she's like, "Huh." And I see this look on her face. And she's like, "Where'd you go to school?" I'm like, "Here." And she's like, "Huh. When did you graduate?" I'm like, 2003. She goes, "Shut up." And I'm like, uh-oh. What did I do wrong this time? Turns out I've had a relationship with this woman and her husband since I was 15 years old.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I had graduated high school with their daughter, and we were close friends. And I had run track with their older son. And to this day, I believe one of our records still holds in the state of Texas, which is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there's this relationship point, and I'm like, okay, well, that's going to get me through today and this week, knowing that if it's good enough for them, I'll find a way to make it work for me for a little bit until I know Amanda's ready to take me back, because she'll be desperate to take me back. Me. Control, puppet strings. So Beth, here it is, right? The first week, you don't do anything at Nehemiah. Right? You're locked down.
Right.
So I come in on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm locked down through that first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The very next week, like, it's full on curriculum. It's AA courses. It's counseling. It's group therapy. It's exercise therapy. It's PT in the morning, military style. And then the first Saturday I'm eligible, which is technically the second Saturday I'm there, I get to join the march. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm gonna show out on this march. Like, I'm fit. I'm a runner. Like, this is gonna be nothing. Physically, it wasn't. Physically, it was nothing. Yeah. Guys are complaining about the physicality of it. It's like 3.5 miles. I'm like, dude, that's a warm up.
Right.
What are you guys doing?
Right.
Like, this. Come on, follow the new guy. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Control.
Yes.
Thinking more of myself. Performance.
Yes.
Right. So Beth, here it is. Get my full fatigues on, looking good, feeling good, right? All the things that really matter in this world, appearances, and walk out the apartment door, go downstairs, get in line, Command Sergeant Major John Stewart, barking orders as if I know what they mean. I don't know the terminology.
No, the military.
And we are in just one of the nastiest, depraved, ugly parts of this city that is Dallas, Texas.
Part of Dallas. It is.
And my judgmental attitude, my feeling of superiority, my privilege, as many would identify it as today, begins to really shine out, right? Where all of a sudden the devil begins to use that hammer of discouragement, his favorite tool in his war chest, to chisel away at my resolve to even stay a month. And as I'm walking down and marching, we're singing cadence to Jesus. And for those who don't know, cadence is like the military form of hip hop, right? We're rapping to God, but as 60 men can do. So it's very much like Dr. Seuss meets military meets gospel.
Yes, and it's powerful.
It is so powerful.
Yeah.
And we're in, again, terrible part of town.
Yeah.
And we're going down Malcolm X Boulevard. And on the right-hand side is a completely abandoned shopping center, except for two businesses. One is a BYOB nightclub, and the place right next to it is a liquor store that has more bars on the window than jail cells have bars. And I'm looking across, and Beth, to set the scene, there's minimum 6 homeless men and women in this parking lot. Full shopping carts, tattered clothes. And I look at them with judgment. And I look at them with a comparative nature. And I say to myself, at least it never got that. And I couldn't finish the statement.
Because you were razor thin.
It never got that. And I'm trying to give myself the encouragement to still feel that false identity I have. Yeah. To still believe it. Yeah. And whether it was the cadence that broke me down, as worship can do, whether it was a recognition of what the past 10 days had been like since joining Nehemiah, whatever lessons I may have learned until then, whatever it was, God would not allow me in that moment to think that of myself anymore. Yeah. And I start weeping, just bawling. And I've got that sad cry of desperation where it's guttural.
Yeah, it's just coming out.
It's
a release.
And now all of a sudden I'm about to get in trouble. Because here comes Command Sergeant Major peeling off the front of the platoon and coming back. And Beth, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh, get it together. You can't let him see it like this. Don't let him see it. And his words didn't even sound like him when he said them. Son, you're right where you need to be.
Yes.
March on.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, 1, that didn't sound like you.
Yeah.
2, as I'm marching on, now the cadence is echoing back to me out of this abandoned parking lot. And in that moment, I recognized it was that bad. Yeah. The difference was I had on different clothes and I was in a different neighborhood, but I was still outside the liquor store at 6:50 in the morning waiting for my medicine.
I love when this recognition happens. It's deep, it's powerful, and it's amazing, because I tell people all the time, every single one of us there's a razor thin line between the life we're living and being so far down that we're homeless and living on the street. And any one of us, if there's anybody watching this or listening to this who thinks that it can't happen to you, you can't end up homeless on the street, you're kidding yourself.
You're absolutely kidding yourself.
Because you come from a place of privilege, affluence, right? I mean, if we talked about your family history and all of that, people would be like, oh, wow, right? And what you've done in the past, right? And
it does not discriminate.
Does not matter. And that's what I love about the Men of Nehemiah, because it is truly a place where you see that, right? That addiction, any form of addiction, this one focuses on alcohol and drugs, but any form of addiction, it doesn't care who you are.
It does not discriminate. Not
does
even
not matter.
The slightest.
It's the one, I think, one of the true equalizers in this world.
It is. Absolutely. And it brings us all down to our knees, and it only happens in the moment when it needs to the most. And that moment was for me. You asked about rock bottom. It wasn't January getting arrested. It wasn't exposing my trauma and pulling that Band-Aid off. It wasn't breaking my leg essentially and being a hobbled person going back and forth to the gas station to get alcohol. It was the moment with 60 men at my front and my back, with one man leading the charge, giving glory to God in the nastiest part of the city, and looking at a group of homeless individuals and trying to compare myself so that I could feel better than. But God saying, no, son.
No, that's you.
I created you all equal.
Right.
And it's not in that image, it's in mine.
Right.
So live in mine and be ready.
And you did get that lesson, but you also get the moment of realization that actually could be me.
In a heartbeat.
Right? I mean, and you realize that. That's the moment of surrender.
Yes.
Realize that we are all exactly the same.
It is.
In that.
And through that process, that submission process, I began to hear things differently in the classroom settings at Nehemiah. I began to listen differently in the sermons at Restoration Church and at the podcasts I listened to, and in the meditations in the morning and the evening. And it's that the two big 3-letter words, yet and but. Okay, so those caveats, right? Those kind of interlopers in our sentences that just find their way in. Well, not yet, right? Or I haven't done that yet. It has some level of intention, right? Or or excuse making. Well, now it wasn't that bad yet, but God. Right. And so to use them in a powerful sense and to reframe them for what they can be as opposed to what they're excused as has been a huge lesson for me.
Yeah. So was that the moment that you decided you were going to do all 9 months?
That was the moment I decided not only was going to do all 9 months, but I was going to make the most of every single moment while there.
Yeah.
And it became a motivating factor.
Yes.
Because I realized that, I did not realize. God placed on my heart and mind that without a full commitment to this process, my children would not know their father. My wife would not have the husband she deserves. And whatever generational curse needed to be broken in me for my kids, their kids, and their kids to follow, that is the truth. As a firstborn, hero syndrome is real. Firstborn of 5 kids in my immediate family, oldest of the grandkids, that hero syndrome is real. This was my chance to be a true hero.
Yeah.
This was my calling.
Yeah. And you touched on a really important reason about why I think we all should be healing and sharing our stories is really the generational impact.
Yes.
Right. To save your children and your grandchildren. I talk to my nephew about this all the time, that his work to heal, my work to heal and to pass that on to him is about my great nephew. Right. And not passing the generational ugliness in our family down to Hudson. Right. And he has an opportunity to save him from that. Right. And so I think that's, I really like that you said that because it's an important reason.
It is.
To do the healing work. But let me ask you this. So did you heal for them or did you heal for Travis?
Initially for them.
Okay.
Initially for them.
And so where did you get to the part I'm healing for Travis?
2nd week of September.
Okay. So you're now in 3 months.
I'm in little over 3 months.
Okay.
And my wife, for background, my wife was essentially raised by her grandparents.
Okay.
Her mother and her father not in the picture, mother, a beautiful woman, but at the time of raising my wife was battling her own struggles. So grandparents filled the gap and grandma passes away. My son is born on September 13th. Our anniversary is September 13th. My youngest son, Ryder. Our anniversary is September 13th. Grandma passes away the same week. One of the men, one of the leaders, one of the guys I admire most in the program takes us to church that morning. Again, all of this, I don't have news of any of it. He gets a phone call, pulls me off the pew and takes me outside. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to let you talk to your wife. I'm going to tell you right now, her grandmother passed away." And in the moment, I'm like, oh, she lived a great life. She's 90. Like,
Yeah.
these things happen, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to rationalize it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then this flood of emotion from my wife just overcomes me. I'm like, okay. My motivation to change was to keep them in my life. Now my motivation is to contribute to their life.
Oh.
Right? Because they're not my possessions. They're a gift from God.
Yes, they are.
Right?
Yes.
They are the absolute gift. And gifts have to be cherished and nurtured.
Yes.
And as Command Sergeant Major would say, you give me the keys to a Volkswagen, I'll turn around and give you the keys to a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is that moment where I can love, comfort, and understand as best as I can
Mm-hmm.
in a 10-minute phone call
Mm-hmm.
with my wife and my kids who are in a significant amount of pain and in need of a dad and a husband.
Yeah.
So right now, what can I take from my lessons with my counselor, with all the people that pour into Nehemiah? What have I learned in this 3-month period that I can put action towards? I do that. And I'm proud of myself.
Mm.
And I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling that I haven't had in a really long time. It's a sense of pride that I don't think I've ever had.
Mm. And it's not coming from alcohol.
It's not coming from alcohol,
which is amazing,
or
right?
from selfish intention,
right?
or
It's
purpose.
coming. It's coming from inside of you.
It is
Care for another human being. Love.
love.
Yes. Real
True
love.
love.
Yes.
And in the
Yes.
moment, Beth, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about these things, and I'm like,
Mm.
is it okay to feel good in this moment?
Mm.
And so now again, the discouragement starts to creep in.
Yeah.
I'm at church.
Yeah.
I have this moment. I hang up the phone, and I'm proud. And then all of a sudden, the discouragement comes back.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And then lo and behold, we get home from church, or get back to the apartments at Nehemiah from church. And I'm told, go over to headquarters. And I don't know why. And I get escorted to headquarters. And outside of headquarters on a Sunday is my counselor, Tommy Castillo, standing out there. And he goes, we need to talk. And I'm sure he's been told that she's passed away and things. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? Like, I'm one who's never been in trouble. Well, never faced consequences for being in trouble.
I want to say, wait a minute, don't say that.
Yeah. Despite a couple of arrests here and there and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we start working through this kind of approach to EQ
Mm-hmm.
versus IQ.
Mm-hmm.
This ability to sympathize, empathize, and otherwise love, comfort, and understand in these traumatic moments. And then all of a sudden that feeling comes back of, I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling proud. I'm feeling purposeful. I'm feeling motivated, driven. I have a level of intentionality. And so just seeing it work, and then the devil work against it, and then have it reaffirmed all within the span of 2 hours gave me more motivation to go one step further. And now I'm doing it for myself.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing. Yeah. Such great insight, awareness. I'm so happy to hear you talk about these things and the progression of the way that they went, because that's the reality of how the healing journey actually goes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, now, the chronology of it too, I think, is important, because my story may sound different than the next man's.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why I do this, because somewhere your story will resonate with someone who's hearing this.
It will. And that's my prayer every time I share my testimony, whether it be one-on-one or at church or small group or to an audience of 1,000 or on a podcast.
Yeah.
But the hope is that there's not some differentiating point where it's, well, that wasn't the same for me. I challenge any man or woman listening to this podcast or any of your podcasts. Don't listen for the specifics. Listen for the similarity.
Yes.
Because the similarities are in James, in Acts, in the gospel, in the big book of AA and NA.
Yes.
They are right there. We just choose, and me particular, I find the words
Yeah.
that don't really apply
Right.
and say, that's why it's not me.
Yeah, that's not me.
And that's
me.
not,
Yeah.
if you want to be healed, if
Yeah.
you want God to do the work he's capable of doing in your life,
Mm-hmm.
don't get hung up on the syntax of what I'm saying or what you're reading.
Right.
And just understand it's the same story.
Hey, empowered survivor, are you ready to transform your deepest wounds into your greatest strengths? I've created something special for you, my free Healing Quick Start Guide, because you too can heal, and I want to show you how. Inside, you'll discover where you are on the emotional scale, assess your readiness to do the deep inner healing work, and get clear on your next steps to turning your pain into power. If you're ready to become who you were always meant to be before your trauma and survival taught you to be small, download your free guide at empoweredsurvivors.com/heal.
It is. We all have the same story. We do. We come from some place of pain. We've suffered in all kind of awful ways. My story is very different. My suffering is very, very different from yours. But we all end up in the place where there's that pivotal moment, the inflection point, when we surrender.
Right.
And then what I love about this conversation with you is there is the act of surrender, but then there's also the act of realizing that you're not healing for anyone else.
Right.
You're healing for yourself.
Right.
Until you get to that point, the surrender, and I'm doing this for myself, you're really not in a place of healing. Right. And we haven't talked at all about the therapy component of Nehemiah. And I just want to touch on that for a moment, because what I think is so powerful about that program is the combination of the God element, the biblical aspects, and it is a Christian Jesus-based program, but I think that's core, the spirituality, the God element of that program. And then there's the military aspect, which is about discipline, right? And coming to rely on a group of other men, which is also what the worship is about, the singing, right? That's where you're all working together as a brotherhood, a unit, right? And then there is the therapy aspect, right? And so I met you through my fiance, Eddie, and that's how you know
my
each
close
other.
brother, Eddie.
Yes, is from Men of Nehemiah, and he introduced me to Men of Nehemiah. And, I had a soft spot in my heart for Nehemiah even before I really got to know him at a deep level. And one of the things that I think is really most powerful that I've heard him describe is being able to engage in the therapeutic element with people who actually understand your plight, because they are part of the program. You're not going to a therapist who's in an outpatient facility or just, find him in the yellow pages. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. And by the way, my trauma therapist, she doesn't practice with a particular organization. She practices on her own. I've been with her 5.5 years, and I'm never gonna be without
Proof in the
her,
pudding,
right?
Yeah,
I will never, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I say that all the time. I will never be without her as long as she's practicing and is going to be in my life, right? Because our healing journey is lifelong, right? We're living.
We're always living.
We're encountering things that happen. But I think the fact that the therapy aspect is so deeply connected to that program, I think it's the three of those three prongs together that really create the success, because you can't heal without any one of them. You can't heal without God, spirituality. You can't heal without learning discipline and self-control over yourself. And you can't heal until you get down to the root cause. Right. Why is this even a thing? Why am I living my life this way? Right? And that's, I think Nehemiah does a really good job of that. And I know that was powerful for Eddie, who struggled for, he had decades long himself that he was struggling with addiction. And that is the turning point. The thing that really made the difference for him was that the therapeutic aspect and being able to bring that out in that environment. Right. It's an amazing organization.
Truly remarkable. And my experiences in what you would consider, I guess, traditional rehab approaches, whether it be in or outpatient, none of them combined the three.
No, I've never seen it before.
It's like in business, you want to be fast and good. You want to be cheap and good, or cheap and fast, but you can't be all three. Can't be all three. Right? Like you got to pick a direction. Yeah. Well, I think what's great is Colonel Lewis's vision, and then the people who've come in behind him, Jim Ramsey, Melinda Russ, Tommy Castillo, all the Shay and Lynn and all those who are contributing to the program at the leadership level, they saw, wow, that's the differentiating factor.
Yeah.
We can do that. We're not going to be told we can't, right? And that's what's so beautiful is there's men that walked in the program with me that didn't know the name Jesus.
Right. That's
so
right.
So just the idea that it's a Christian-based, military-led 12-step process. You don't have to be a Christian or a military member to go.
No.
But what you do have to do is be open. And through the openness comes vulnerability.
Yes.
Through the vulnerability comes change.
Yes.
And through the change comes healing.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And it's that process
beautiful.
that they walk you through to put you back in the home as a man, right? And as a man who's honorable, accountable, willing to make mistakes and admit them, right? And grow from them. And as you said with your counselor, it's kind of that thing. It's like, I'm not done. I'm never done. We had moments this morning, moments last night. We had moments yet last week, whatever it was.
I've had some this week myself.
There it is,
right?
right?
It just
like
happens.
They pop up.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had men's Bible study last night. There was a moment at Bible study.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, stop your thought, Travis.
Yeah.
What would somebody in your life say if that was the thought that came out of your mouth right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's the healing never ends.
Yeah.
And for Nehemiah to recognize that the healing never really is reached at a level of efficiency or capability without those three components, the clinical, the Christian, and the military components, then they're just any other old rehab spot. They just happen to be free of charge to the user.
Yeah. Yes. Which is also
which
amazing.
Is remarkable.
for what that program offers.
Yes.
And it truly is saving lives, restoring families. It really is. It's an amazing thing. The energy in those rooms when I'm there. So, I'm posting regularly when I take video of being in the church service or being at the Tuesday night service. For me, it is a healing microcosm, right? And healing is so important to me and what it means to me, what I know it to be, hope and evolve fell off the wall, but and love, right? That's what heal means to me, to hope, evolve, and love. And when I'm in those rooms, it is a microcosm of that. There's so much hope, people who are evolving in their lives, growing, changing, healing, and then the love aspect. And I think for some people, it's probably the first time that they've ever truly experienced unconditional love.
Absolutely.
Not from the people who are there at the organization, but God's love as well, and really recognizing that.
Well, and it's that love, man, that is the motivation for so many to stay, and then also for so many of us to stay connected.
Yes.
Right? Because I came and still am a part of a very loving family.
Yeah.
But it was my disillusioned thought process as to what love truly was.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I hadn't experienced it. It's that I had manipulated it.
Well, and it got messed up
and
early
it got
on.
messed up early on.
Yeah.
Right? And so now for it to just be poured out onto me, as it so readily is, it's something that I feel called to share.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it be through Nehemiah or through church. But it's that restoration in Christ that makes it possible.
Yes.
And I'm beyond grateful for them, for my pastors, Craig and Shannon at Restoration Church, for my wife and kids, obviously, for you and Eddie and all my brothers, that we do this thing together that we call life. And from it, we get to share our testimonies and lead people to Christ.
Yes.
And that is the ultimate reward.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's a great mission to have been given.
It is.
Right.
It is. Mission accepted.
Me too. And I'm honored every day and humbled every day that God would see fit to give me my life path, everything that I've been through, even the hard parts of it, because now I'm in this amazing place where I get to say to people, hey, you don't have to live that way anymore. You can just all you got to do is heal, and then you can absolutely thrive in your life.
Right.
Joy, peace, and love. And as we've said, that doesn't mean that life is just, blissfully happy every day. Yesterday was a low day for me, right? And it started early in the morning with Eddie and a number of people who I reached out to get some help, bringing me back from the brink of, I'm just going to go be a Walmart greeter, right? I've been experiencing this for a little while now, right? But we do this because God has said, from what you've experienced, you have the power to pay that forward and to give it to other people. Yep. There's a ripple effect, right? And I think we're societally in a place where more and more people are open to hearing our stories and to knowing that healing truly is possible, right? You can be in some really dark places and still pull yourself out of it.
Well, and to learn lessons like my 7 and 6-year-old boys, Jet and Ryder, all the time. Jet Man believes he's Batman. Ryder believes he's Spider-Man. So with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. I have been equipped with amazing power through our Lord and Savior Jesus
Yes.
Christ, and through my counselors and my brothers and all those who have
Yeah.
surrounded me. And that responsibility is for me to go out and give it to others.
Yeah.
Right. And so if that helps my kids look at me in a superhero light,
Yes.
and encourages them to do the same, as both my daughter and my son Jet have shared their testimony
Yes.
as
they
to
have.
how Nehemiah and how
Mhm.
Christ has made a difference in their
Mhm.
life,
Mhm.
then I think I'm doing pretty good as a dad.
I think you are too. I think you are too. Well, you're ending it where we started, right? And that
Right.
just my observation of you all as a family, it's powerful.
Amen.
It really is. It's palpable as well. So I love it. So
Thank you, Beth.
thank you. Makes me a little happy tears.
Happy tears for
It's a good,
sure.
it's a beautiful thing to see.
Amen
And
to
seeing
that.
you all restored and your family is beautiful. Yeah,
Thank you,
it
Beth.
is. Thank you very much for being here.
Of course, my
Been
honor.
radically vulnerable, and I do thank you for that. It's important to share your story that way.
Yes.
And you're a guy's guy, so it's
I-
good. It's good to have someone like you here sharing your story in the way that you have, and digging down deep and telling everything. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. I'm honored to have had you here.
My pleasure, Beth. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Yeah, of course. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Let's Heal with Beth Jones. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Beth Jones Healing Mentor. And if you'd like to know more about me and my work to help other survivors to heal, please visit me on the web at empoweredsurvivors.com.